Authorities taking a closer look at electronic monitoring as it pushes ahead with a parole and probation program. Good evening, everyone. I'm Keishla Adderley.
And I'm Charisma Robinson. Major changes on the way to track those on bail. The electronic monitoring system was implemented several years ago, and since then there have been a number of challenges. But as authorities clog those loopholes, they're ensuring that the necessary measures are in place as they look at a parole and probation program. General Ferguson tells us that the National Security Minister's comments came at a major conference today.
National Security Minister Dr. Bernard Nottage admitted that while there have been some improvements with the electronic monitoring system, many of the challenges still exist.
People cut the bracelets off themselves or use paper foil and all that, and the follow-up when this happens must be immediate. But the selective enforcement team that the Commissioner has instituted in the Royal Bahamas Police Force have been a very good job following these people up very quickly.
His comments came as the government looks to implement a parole and probation program funded in part by the Inter-American Development Bank. A two-day forum is being held at the Hilton Hotel with stakeholders on the way forward. Nottage acknowledged that the probation program will be an extension of the monitoring program, but additional resources are needed.
In terms of manpower, in terms of the training they have, in terms of access to skills training where it's required, and counseling and so forth. So there will be an increase in manpower required for the parole system to be successfully implemented. But what we have to spend on that we'll save by not having these people incarcerated.
It costs about $14,000 annually to house each incarcerated prisoner. There are more than 1,500 prisoners housed at the Department of Corrections. Speaking to attendees, Nottage said the government has begun to put in reforms in place by reducing the time for one's criminal record to be expunged. But he says more reforms are needed.
What I have to do is get up from my desk and look down to see if they're wearing an electronic ankle bracelet. Because if I send them somewhere for a job and they're wearing one of them, they ain't get no job. People scared of them. And then they come and say, well, Doc, if I can't get a job, how am I going to feed my family?
Meanwhile, ICS Security continues to monitor those on bail on a month-to-month contract. Nottage says the bidding process is underway for the government to secure a new contract to monitor those on bail.
We have had submissions from local vendors. They have been examined, and when the result is completed, you'll know. Because I'll tell you.
It's expected that the parole and probation program will not only save taxpayer dollars but reduce crime on our streets. Nottage hopes to have the plan rolled out by the end of the year. Janae Noel Ferguson, ZNS Network News.